everybody.
Number
Welcome.
54.
Wildflowers, Books, Booze, and Banter.
Very good.
There we go.
Very good.
I'm Judy.
I'm Carol. Wait, where's Elmo this time?
Elmo.
Oh, that's right.
Ernie.
Oh!
Ernie.
I just got in trouble.
And I'm Peggy.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is Peggy.
Hey,
yes.
Peggy.
Oh,
Thanks
that's
for
my
joining
notes.
us again this week.
Yep. Okay. Well, we just lost Peggy again.
That's okay. She's in and she's out. Are you in and you're out? You're up and you're down. Katy
how's
Perry,
every-
call me.
Okay. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, actually.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
We're
good.
filming this on a weekend, and there's just a little break in the rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
This
goodness.
is what our 7th weekend in a row of rain.
Has it been 7 weekends?
Yes, it has been.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
Wow.
feel really bad for the local pumpkin farmers. To
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
This is their bread and butter.
Well,
to go there for the weekend.
we had Oyster Fest.
Oh, that's
this
right. It was
weekend.
today. Yeah.
Jessica and Riley were manning the parking lot, so helping people park
Nice.
and collecting the money. And I said, "How was it?" She said, "Well, no one was at Oyster Fest, so we were just standing around chatting the whole time."
Aw.
But now Judy
And-
would have liked to have been there yesterday.
Yes.
Billy Joel's.
Yeah, the Billy Joel
Billy
Street.
Joel got a street named after him.
I was so annoyed. I was outside and Jessica came home and she goes, "Oh, I was just up. They just donated the street up by the cycling place to Billy Joel and he's there."
That's his cycling
And
place.
yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I said, "Oh, I didn't know about it. I would have gone up." She said, "Well, I went up." She took a break from work because Tate is in the band and the band was playing.
Oh,
She says, "So Billy Joel is talking up a storm, but giving a speech, and I only have eyes for Tate."
As a good mother does.
So
So I said, "Oh, I'm sorry that I missed that." So
Oh,
interesting.
but that's a good experience for him then.
yeah.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Very fun.
yeah. He's
You know, one thing I did want to mention, I found, I listened to a podcast, Smartless, with Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett. And they always have a guest on them. They had Matthew McConaughey on recently.
All right, all right, all
All
right.
right. And I did not realize that he is really active. Well, he just came out with a children's book called Just Because. And first I'm going to give, it's for 4 to 8 year olds, and this is part of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm in the race doesn't mean I'm fully ready. Just because I'm shaking doesn't mean that I'm not steady. Have you ever felt worried and excited at the same time? Have you ever had your feelings hurt but forgiven someone anyway? Have you ever thought there was more than one right answer to a question? That's because contradictions are all around us and they make us who we are. And the book is called Just Because. But not only that, he has started this, I don't know, a nonprofit, and it's a bill that provides billions of dollars in grants for school districts so that they can afford security upgrades, mental health services, and other common sense programs to make schools safer. And it's called Green Lights Grant Initiative. And what he does is he has people help them fill out the forms for grants. Because a lot of these schools don't even realize that they can get grants, or they're intimidated how to ask for them and how to fill it out. So it's a first of its kind, nonpartisan program. It's focused on helping school districts apply for and receive federal school safety grants. And he was talking about it on the show, and it was just so interesting, and he's very passionate about it. He goes, we need more education, and this is one way to get us there. So,
Absolutely.
so if you want your school to investigate the grants, it's greenlightsgrantinitiative.org. So check that out. So yeah,
Cool.
and also check out
Good
his
info.
children's book.
Yeah.
I've seen him going on the talk shows about
Yeah.
that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded cool.
He
yeah.
reads it much better than I do. I love the
Yes,
way
with
he
his
read it. Yeah,
accent.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
So,
I have a word.
oh, you have a word.
Yeah, I think I must
Finally.
have done it. Are these yours?
She had a
I
word.
think I did this one already.
What
What
is
is
it?
it? I'll tell you.
Fufara?
I don't
No.
think so. No.
Fufara.
Foo-fa-ra. K-fa-ra.
Foo-fa-ra.
Foo-fa-ra.
Could you spell the word, please?
F-O-O-F-A-R-A-W. Foo-fa-ra.
Could you use it in a sentence?
I'll have a vowel.
I could give you the...
Origin?
Yeah, I could give you the definition.
Okay.
Okay.
A great deal of fuss or attention given to a minor matter.
Oh,
So,
that's so
Well,
I can see.
foo-fa-ra.
I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah.
People saying, "Oh, that's just a foo-fa-ra."
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bunch of foo-fa-ra about, you know,
Nothing,
whether
yeah.
or not she should wear glasses.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
right,
Foo-fa-ra.
right.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
We gotta bring that word back.
And Barigamus. Wait, what was that? The
Borborygmus.
That was on.
I have a
TV
lot
show.
of that right
Yes.
now.
Oh, that
yes.
was on a TV show the other day. It was
Oh,
like
really?
one of the multiple choice. I go, I know the answer to that. Yeah, it was
Well, I read something interesting, just
Yes.
real quick, and I'm always interested in names. For some, I love when people have baby names. I just always so interested in what people name them, and I read an article about how some of the old-fashioned names are making their comeback.
Really?
And on the top list for girls were all three of our names.
All
Oh,
three
really?
of them?
All three of our names.
Peggy?
No, Margaret.
Margaret?
Margaret, because you're Margaret.
Yeah.
Margaret, Carol, and Judith. Finally
Wow.
are making a
Really?
comeback.
Wow.
Wow.
I know
thought
the
that was
number one
interesting.
boy's name now, I just heard it the other day, is Noah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's been there for a little
Yeah.
while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
name. Look.
Well, it's
Yeah.
so funny because I think about my grandparents and their parents. And my mom always went by the name Catherine, but her first name really was Irma.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Irma
interesting.
Catherine.
Wow.
And then my grandmother was Pearl.
Yeah.
My other grandmother on my mom's side was Beatrice.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, those old-fashioned names, like my mom's name was Mildred.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Her
okay.
sister's name, she had two sisters, Dorothy and
Okay.
Ruth.
Dorothy was my
So,
grandmother's
yeah.
name. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, the
So all I thought I should have saved the article.
Oh,
I did. It
wow,
was
that's
online. But I
interesting.
saw Margaret because
Margaret.
first I saw yours, then I saw mine, and I go, wonder if Peggy's. But then right under it was Margaret. I go, oh my gosh!
I should have knew about this because
Yeah.
there was two ladies that came to the Nelson DeMille event that wanted him signed that were named Carol, and we were saying you don't hear people say that name younger, and she goes no more, and now it's coming back.
And I was so happy because
Wow.
my girls too, they make fun of me because they say there's no Judy that's younger than you, and they're right. I think I don't even know if I've ever met a Judy that's younger than me or Judith.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, don't.
it'd be nice if they started naming them again.
Yeah.
Judy.
Yeah.
Judy.
Yeah, I've never met a young person named Margaret or Peggy.
Right. Well,
You know,
no,
maybe in
I work
Ireland
With,
you
I work
would.
with a young Margaret.
Oh,
She
do
goes
you?
by Maggie. And
Oh,
so, but
okay.
her name is Margaret. So, and she is younger than me. So that is
Yeah,
coming back.
yeah.
I don't know about Carol though. I haven't
Yeah,
met a
Yeah,
younger
I haven't
Yeah.
heard. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I don't know. I think Margaret might hit number one.
it could.
Mhm.
It really could.
It's a very distinguished name.
And it's
when
got
you
so
think
many
about it.
cool nicknames. You could do Maggie is such a cool nickname.
That's right.
Peggy is such a-
Margie, you know.
I
I like
Margot.
Maggie. I like Maggie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like Maggie.
Yeah.
That's-
My mother picked Peggy.
She
Yeah.
liked
Oh,
Peggy,
so
so.
you didn't decide that it just was.
No. My mother told my father we will never call her that because she hated the name,
Yeah.
and he snuck it on the birth certificate
Right.
because that was my grandmother's name.
My sister's
Oh.
name is Connie, and I don't think it's Constance. I think my mom said, no, we're not putting Constance on the birth certificate. It's Connie. But I don't hear any Connies anymore either.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Constance is the character in the very cool character. She's one of my favorites in the Mysterious Benedict Society books.
Oh, okay. I still
And-
haven't read them.
Oh, they're awesome.
I know they
They're
are.
great. And the movies are on. Is it on Disney Plus? I think they just came out last year or 2 years ago, whatever.
Okay.
And so Constance is the
It's in it.
character,
Oh,
and
okay.
she's awesome. She really
Yeah.
is awesome. She's one of the
Wow.
best ones there.
That's
So
too funny.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Well,
Is it time to have wine?
Yes, it
I
is.
would think it would be.
Okay, so let's do a little pouring.
Okay.
A little more.
This is Krasno.
Okay.
Oh, it's a white wine.
I'll tell you in a
We'll
few
have to
minutes
see.
what it is.
Blushing.
Carol knows what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
she
wrote
broke me
down-
out of the loop.
she
Well,
wrote-
I didn't want to tell her either,
I did.
but we were out to dinner and she was kind of like, oh,
No, do not. No,
please tell me.
No.
I want to know before
You're
Judy.
such a liar.
I know, that
Judy.
sounds just like her.
I know,
No.
really.
Here's Peggy. She goes, you want to know? That's what she like, you want to know? I'm like,
I was trying to keep up with the dinner conversation. I was sick as a dog, and I said, I'm sitting there like, okay, I'll tell her about the wine.
yeah.
All right, so anyway, this is this brand is called Krasno. It's from Slovenia.
Ooh, interesting.
Wow.
And this is not a white wine. This is considered an orange wine.
Yeah, it is. I could see that.
And it's orange
It
wine.
is.
I had never heard about it.
Do you chill this?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was reading about it in Wine Folly, and I said, what the hell is orange wine? It is not orange flavored, but orange wine is, the technical name is skin macerated white wine. It, this one in particular, I'm going to tell you first before this one. Orange wine is all natural. It's made by leaving the skin on white grapes during fermentation. Believed to go back to 6000 BC in Georgia, Europe. Is thought to be the birthplace of wine as we know it. Georgia, Europe, not Georgia, United States. Technical term is skin contact wine. Orange wines are much higher in tannins because the skins are left on longer. And I think in one place that I was reading, like it's also fermented in open barrels, and some of the skins on some of the grapes stay on for 8 months, and some of them for like maybe 1 week, or it's this really natural, complicated way. It's a very complicated way of making wine. And that's why it's kind of maybe making a comeback.
Oh, okay.
Because it is so complicated, but it's actually more like a red wine than a white wine.
Wow.
So
Like,
it's,
can I say something that's funny? Is I don't know that you meant to do this, but it's perfect for Halloween. The
yes,
orange.
I know. Well, that's why I did it. Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I said,
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, this one here has bright notes of ripe apricot, quince, and dried mango.
Oh.
Counterbalance savory notes of dried thyme and a chalky minerality.
Love it.
Peach and walnut.
Wow.
Skin-like tannins offer a complexity of bitterness that plays well to the sweet.
Okay.
Tangerine peel acidity.
Well, it is orangey.
Well,
Let's take a
Some of them are more orange than others.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween,
Smells
everybody.
okay.
It smells very good.
I hope that
Cheers.
I'm not really going to be able to taste it
I
either.
know.
It's got
She's
legs.
still suffering
So
from
you
COVID.
haven't tried this before?
No, I have not.
Well, I told Natasha about it, and Natasha was like, ew. She said,
No.
it was real popular years ago, and she goes, I just never got
Orange
into it.
wines are still rare, but
It's very interesting.
many countries have a growing interest in this natural winemaking style. It has a lot of tannins in it. Yes.
Yeah.
I like this. You don't like it?
I don't know yet.
I like
first
it.
I had
First sip I like because it's different.
right, yeah.
It's very different.
First sip you can never tell with the first sip.
This one I can
It
tell.
tastes.
I like it. It's dry.
It's very dry and it's more full bodied. They said it's more like a red wine.
Yeah, this doesn't taste like. There's no acidity kickback like you would get. Yeah.
No, it's
I
smooth
get a little
for
kick-
something that has this
I'm
so
getting a
high
little
in
kick.
tannins.
Right. No, I'm not getting any.
Yeah, I'm getting a little kickback.
I'm not getting any fruitiness, but I don't know if it's because I can't
Yeah,
really
you
taste very
yeah,
well.
I can't tell.
Can
It's
you
not
taste
fair.
any fruity things?
I could taste apricot.
You
Yeah.
must be a sommelier. Can you taste any fruity
Any
things?
fruitiness?
Speaking of sommeliers, you have to check, if you're into wine, you have to check this movie out on Netflix called Uncorked. It's just delightful. It's so
You
much
mentioned
fun.
that to me. I
Yeah.
have to go try it.
It's,
I like
it's
it.
a fun movie.
I
it's
think
different.
I like it too. I wish I could taste
Yeah.
something more, but I'm getting something.
I do like. I'm having my candy corn too.
Yeah. All right. What would you? All right. Price wise, that's what we got to figure out.
It's so complicated. I would think it'd be higher in price.
Yeah, she got it with Halloween in mind too. So I'm gonna talk like you're not here.
I'm gonna say $19.99.
Yeah, it was. Also, 21.
Okay, I'm not sure how much it cost because I wanted to go and I didn't have time, and then I got sick to go to Total Wine and pick out a different one that I had seen. And so I said, okay, what am I going to do? I didn't have time. I thought that we were doing the podcast like the next day, and then I couldn't do it.
Right.
And so I went to, there's a fine wine shop in Oyster Bay, in East Norwich, and I went there, and I just asked him if he had an orange wine, and he gave me this one. And he didn't give me the receipt. I didn't ask for it. He said, you want your receipt? I said, no. Then I got home. I said, I have no idea how much I just paid for this. I should really go and look on.
Well, you got
but I looked it up online.
Okay.
And online it's saying some places said $17.99, some places say $19.99, some places it was $21.99.
Oh, we're all right.
So
yeah.
So.
But I was gonna say it's probably on the higher end that we usually drink because it seems very complex.
It's it's an unusual. So I'd be interested in trying another one because the guy in the liquor store even told me, he said some of them are horrible.
That's what Natasha said.
He said some of them are just horrible. He said this one here is a pretty good one. So, but he did say some of them are just, I think he said trash or something.
Do you know where it would be kept in a store? Because usually stores are divided like
he
red
had
wine,
this
white
on
wine.
an end cap, so I don't know.
So
I'm not that familiar with that store. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and in Total Wine, I think they put it by the region that it came from.
Okay.
I wanted to get an Italian one. And in Total Wine online, they'll tell you what aisle it's in and the bin. And they were in different aisles. So I guess they go by the region it's in.
Okay.
So, I mean, I was surprised to
keep
see
an eye out.
Slovenia. Here, I said Slovenia. It's,
I think it's
my
good.
first Slovenian wine.
I would give this I'd say a 4. I'd give it a 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4.
I would never
unusual
buy
taste.
it. I can say that right now.
I
know I will never buy it.
I would buy
I would give it a
12.5% by volume. Alcohol.
I was thinking it was lighter. I was thinking it was in the 12s. Yeah.
a 3.
Okay.
I can't tell. I mean, I think I would really like it, but I can't really taste a lot.
I like
But
it.
it's nice and smooth, and I like the body to it.
I like the color.
Yeah, I know. Well, some of them are even more orangey, they said, and some of them are very pale, like a more pink color.
Oh, okay.
So, depends. So I will try other ones now.
All right.
Okay.
We'll do it
The
again.
next time I do an order from Total Wine, I'm going to order one. I'm going to order an Italian one. So,
Okay.
Okay, there you are.
yeah. So,
Right.
Oh, thanks,
now.
Peg. That was good. I like trying new things.
yeah. So.
That's what this is about.
I've never heard of orange
That's
wine.
what. Yeah, this was fun.
I tell you, that website, I get a newsletter every week from Wine Folly. It's so informative. You know,
That's
you
great.
find out about, I said,
It tastes better with the candy.
Well, they said it does pair well with lighter fare.
Oh, well, this is my almond joy is going quite well with it.
The candy corn. I just love it.
It's all right. So we'll
All
move
right,
on
so
to
the book.
Which is
That's
my turn.
Judy's turn.
Now, I finished this book a couple of months ago. It was when I got back from Ireland. And I thought it was timely to bring up now because what we talked about last podcast a little bit with what's going on in Israel and Palestine, reminiscent of history. And I just finished reading it. And this is a nonfiction book.
Oh, okay.
And it's called My Friend Anne Frank.
Ooh.
And this came out this year. This is a brand new book, 2023. It's by Little Brown Spark, and it's by Hannah Pick-Goslar. And I got this book at Barnes & Noble. I tried to get it at my library first, but it was out, which is good. People are reading it, so I'm happy. And I didn't want to wait, so I got it at Barnes & Noble. This, unfortunately, she's passed now, the author of this book. But she's been friends. This was Hannah, the author. This is her, and this is Anne Frank. Anne Frank was her first friend. They met when they were 4. And they lived pretty much almost like practically next door to each other growing up. And this talks about her relationship, you know, developing with Anne Frank, going through the time when she went into hiding. Anne Frank went into hiding as well. She actually discovered them. She went over to knock on the door to borrow something. Her mother sent her over to borrow something from Mrs. Frank for cooking. I forgot what it was. And the other tenant came down and were like, oh no, they're not here, they moved. And that's how she found out that they were gone.
Yeah.
But it also, which I think is relevant to the modern times too, is just shows, it goes through the backdrop of life before everybody had to leave, go into hiding, or go into concentration camps. It talks about school, you know, how normal things are, going to school, the friend drama. There was friend drama between these two, as well as their others. They had a circle of friends, going to birthday parties, you know, movies, crushes. Everything was kind of normal until it wasn't normal anymore, like what happened now. And she talks about the gradual exclusion, you know, of the Jews. First, you know, it started with, you know, Jews couldn't go on buses, and they couldn't go to movies, and certain schools, and then playgrounds were off pools, beaches, until they weren't welcome anywhere. And all while this was happening, nobody was saying anything. The people who lived around, you know, when all of a sudden when the Jewish kids couldn't go to school with their other kids, Nobody spoke out.
Was she Jewish too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and her father held some sort of diplomatic kind of or a position where he helped other Jews and navigate, you know, the system or whatever it was. So his family was one of the last. They enjoyed this kind of stalled removal to the camps, but ultimately they even came for them. And she and her father and her baby sister, younger sister, she had like a toddler-ish, went into the concentration camp because her mother died during childbirth. And so she and her grandparents went to the concentration camps. And so we get her life in this. It's really Hannah's story, but it's under the backdrop of she, you know, knowing Anne. And she always believed in the concentration camps all throughout that Anne and her family had made it to Switzerland, because that's where they were. So that's what, and she had hoped that that's what had happened. She learned differently because she encountered Anne and her sister in the concentration camp.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
After many years of being there, they were in a brutal camp, and new arrivals coming all the time. Now her and her sister were like on the indoor portion of it. They had so many that there were people on this fence line outside who had to sleep outside with no shelter or anything at all. And you couldn't even see through the fence, but there were like little cracks, and so people would try to go to the fence and try to identify anybody from this village, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And someone would identify, yes, there is somebody here from such a village. They got it, and it was Anne. And she reconnected with Anne in the concentration camp. And it's heartbreaking for me, and I didn't know this, but and her sister, older sister, Anne's older sister, was very ill, and she tried throwing food over. She gathered a little bit of foods overnight. She was trying to get, and went back, very dangerous because you weren't allowed to go to the wall. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going on really long. But anyway, it's such a good story. But it's good to remember. And I don't want to give too much because I'm giving it away. But something, Anne, obviously she didn't make it, but she, I think, died believing a certain fact about her family that didn't end up becoming true. And to me, that was kind of heartbreaking, you know. So great story, and it's a good reminder to read. I think what's going on in today's world to remind us what could happen, and
when you keep your mouth shut,
when you don't speak up, and if we don't treat people like humans, you know, and children. This is children. These are children. And so just keep this in mind. And it's a very good book. I believe they made it into a Netflix show. Somebody says that this is a movie.
There's something about the title that's familiar, and I thought that there was a book that came out about Anne Frank that they found out wasn't true. There was some controversy about it, but I don't think it was this one.
This one's new, and I had seen an interview with her when they were promoting the book, which made me say, well, I want to read that.
But she died, though.
Yeah.
But, the thing is that when you said, like, her father was, they were one of the last people to be taken, right? But the thing is, you think, oh, that was... But they must have been on edge every freaking day. And like you're seeing loved ones and friends and everybody on, like, hey, you know it's going to be.
I know, and you couldn't even get out of the country.
Right. Yeah.
You know, how do you get out? How do you escape?
And like Judy says, is people are experiencing that today. And we We
and
have
the
to
trauma
open
that
our
these
mouths.
children
The
grow
trauma,
up,
absolutely.
everywhere. She did die October 28th last year. She died.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So-
At what age do you know? No, it's fine.
Well, she must have been pretty old.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
must have been.
Yeah, I would think so.
Let's see. She was born in 1928.
Oh,
so
okay,
okay,
so she
yeah.
was right up there.
anyway, so I thought it was great. If you want to borrow it, you're more than welcome to. It's a
She was
wonderful book.
95, yeah.
Yeah, and she had a very interesting
I
life.
like that picture in the back. Yeah, that's really.
And there's photos in here too.
Oh, it
There's
comes
real
up.
photos that
Wow.
she had growing up of
Wow.
Anne, Frank, and her, and of their friends. The ones that Anne talks about in her diary. She's got photos of them.
Does she address at all the quote that attributed to Anne about that she still believes in the goodness of man? And I'm paraphrasing. That she.
I think that was she touched a lot about how the diary was her personality. That really, that's the kind of person she was as a child.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And,
Wow.
very vivacious, very life of the party, kind of a person, and just loved life.
Now, did you ever
Yeah.
watch the movie with the Diary of Anne Frank? Have you ever
Yes.
seen? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
so I would
no,
recommend this.
Thank you, Judy.
Yeah.
That's.
I think it was on sale at Barnes & Noble too, if you get
Oh,
it. Yeah.
okay.
So-
Well, I was trying to find out if it was one of the books that was banned, because that's my topic, is banned books.
Oh, okay.
And it's just getting worse. You see what's happening now, and you know what happened in Germany, and we're reliving it now, or living it. And people don't seem to understand the dangers of banned books, and it's just so disturbing. And I remember watching. It was either the Waltons. I think it was the Waltons, and it was about a German family that moved into the Walton territory. And everybody was up in arms because it was during the war and everything, and they did not want him there, and they wanted to burn their books, and they were all upset. And then they did have a book burning on the program, and John Walton, the writer, ran and he pulled one of the books because he was against the book burning, and he had one of the women read in German. He goes, "Okay, now translate it." And they were burning this book, and it was the Bible. And he was making a point. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know that you're burning these books, and that's ignorance. And that's what I feel like we're dealing with now. And the Diary of Anne Frank was banned in Florida, and maybe other places too.
Well, I'm sure, because it probably makes people uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's not fit for children. Why should they know these things?
Really,
Because it's history.
It's history. We can't.
We learn by our mistakes.
Exactly.
But
Whitewash
not if you
is-
hide them.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Go.
They did teach the Diary of Anne Frank in my school district, and I was happy about that. But what I learned is that some teachers only assigned excerpts of the book, not the whole thing.
Oh, they picked and chose.
And I was like, it's not a hard book. So I mean, I was like, so my one of my daughters, she read the whole thing. I was like, over the summer, I was like, we're gonna read this whole book. I said, you need to know what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You need to read the whole thing to
Yeah.
understand that this isn't an excerpt kind of a book.
Yeah, no, exactly. Absolutely. Well, I did get a list of banned books. I'm just curious how many of these you're familiar with or that you've read, and if obviously I don't know if it was banned when you read it, but so one of the ones is, or the first one, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morris.
I read that. Yeah.
You read that. And I don't know if I read that one. I know I read.
I think I read that one.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to remember.
Beloved.
Beloved is
I
probably.
didn't read
yeah.
Beloved, and
Oh,
I
I
want
did.
to. I have it
I read
home.
that actually twice,
Yeah.
I think.
I have it
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And these two, I read in high school because we were assigned it, To Kill a Mockingbird
Oh yeah.
and to The Catcher in the Rye,
Of course.
and yet now they're being banned in
Yeah.
certain areas.
In certain areas?
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean.
Well, yeah, I think Catcher in the Rye is for pornography, foul language.
These are
Really?
the kids probably have
I know.
access to TikTok. And,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know, really.
Yeah, Looking for Alaska by John Green.
Oh,
I never read that. That's I know. He's the young adult guy.
Right.
He did the one about
The young girl. The,
The Fault Is in Our Stars.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The Color Purple.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Well, I could see why people would not like, but it's such an important book.
It's I mean, I've got such a huge
The
list.
movie is
but-
actually excellent. I've seen the movie,
Yeah.
the Broadway show. I've got it's one of
Wow.
my favorite soundtracks of all time for any movie ever.
and
And the book is wonderful. I just love everything about that whole story.
So I wonder, when you just said that, I had a flash, and I'm trying to see if I could put it into words. Like, did seeing that make you a better person? I mean,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Yes.
It makes you a more empathetic person.
That's what
empathetic.
fiction,
Yeah.
good fiction does.
Yeah.
It makes you more empathetic.
That's what reading is all about.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an understanding of something outside of yourself, somebody
Right.
else's world.
And it pulls you into it, and it's like you said, it makes you empathetic.
It shows you what goes on outside of your circle of the world,
That's
so
right.
you can relate to know that not everybody lives like you.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, I remember when we did for the book, we used to have the book club, and was it The Underground Railroad, I think, that we read by Colson Whitehead? And I'm sure that's banned somewhere. It has to be.
I'm sure it is.
But as disturbing as it was for me to read that, and I could have easily been like, oh no, I can't read this. I read it, and I read it thinking, it was a work of fiction.
Yes.
But yet, you knew that this
It
was
was based on something.
based,
Yeah.
and it makes you, like you said, we have to understand our history so we don't repeat it, and yet we're repeating it because the ignorance that is out there, that, you know, people don't even read. Like when Peggy and I, when we first were going to open the bookstore, and we went to the book festival, the street festival.
Street fair, yeah.
And we had a lot of advanced reader copies to give out to promote the bookstore, and just like we were free books. Several people, what did they say to us when they walked by?
Oh, I don't read.
And they were proud of it.
Yeah, no, I don't read.
I don't read. Oh, I know,
That's
I
the
don't read.
problem.
And I'm just like, I remember distinctly standing in the street trying to hit, and
We were giving out shopping bags full of free books that we had gotten. You know.
I turned around and looked at you, and you just started laughing at my face because I was like, don't read.
It was a lot of people.
Yeah.
It wasn't an occasional person.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah.
so many people,
Yeah,
and that's a problem.
You know, it's so easy to go up to a table when there's tchotchkes and gadgets and stuff, but when there's a books, they're just like,
It's almost like they're afraid of it.
yeah, exactly. 1984. I remember having to read that in
I
high
had
school.
to read that in high school too.
And did they show you the movie too? Because there was an old movie.
I doubt it. I went to Catholic school.
Okay, yeah.
My Catholic school didn't make us read that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I know I read it, so I probably read it in high school.
I think that is something that needs to be read with everything that's going on now with our phones, our everything, anything that we're talking about now, it'll come up on my phone, different things like
They're all listening.
Yeah.
God.
Absolutely.
It happened to me, and now I can't think of what it was, and it was absolutely
was it
bizarre.
recently?
Yes, and it wasn't even anything I had Googled or been shopping for, and it was something that came up, and I said, oh my God, on the New York Times, you know how those ads pop up, because I do it digitally,
Right.
and I said, how did they know that,
Yeah.
that
Because
I
they're
was
listening.
And they're
Listen.
watching your searches, and they think they know you, and they
I
probably
hadn't
do.
even searched it. It was like something I said, I can't think of how they would know this couldn't just be a coincidence. And now I can't remember what it was.
Well, it's very funny because years ago, something I had said to either one of my kids or whatever, and then like a few hours later, it came up on my feed, and I'm like, oh, what a coincidence! And I thought, oh, that's such a coincidence! Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Until I realized
It's not.
it's not a coincidence.
No.
Yeah. And yet we're freaking out over reading books.
Over a book.
Yeah.
Right. But yet we bring all these technology. We have these smart TVs, and they're all listening.
Really?
So
I know.
But
I mean, I
that's
have
okay,
my
right?
camera covered on my laptop, yet, you know, I still have this, and if I turn it
You
around.
have a ring too. That's
Oh yeah, well that was not mine, but whatever. I'm in a two-family house, so.
Yeah. Of Mice and Men, I read that a
Of
couple
Mice
of
and Men?
times.
Oh, Mice and yes, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Is,
There was.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
So was Handmaid's Tale, I think, is also
Yes,
Yes,
that's
on
yep,
there.
as
that's
well.
yep.
And again,
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
had such a huge long list, and I'm not going to read them all.
Scarily true.
Yeah, I'm
get
not going
there.
to. I mean, like some of these authors, like you, why are they banning their books? It's like so silly, and it's like some of them think it's a badge of honor because they get press from it, but still.
Well, banned books are selling exceptionally well because of all of this. So every bookstore you go into has a table with banned books. They're promoting them.
Oh yeah.
We have the banned book week as
My library
always.
did
It's,
something
yep.
for that. They were posting a picture every day of the librarians holding a different book that was banned, which I
Right.
thought was good.
Yep.
I was really happy that they
Yeah.
were doing that.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Are there any books or is there any book that you think deserves to be banned?
No way.
No.
No.
Even if it promotes? I feel like when we had the bookstore, well not us, when Borders was, there was a book on how to build a bomb.
Oh, that was years ago. That was the Antarctics, Antarctist,
Oh, the Anarchist.
Cookbook, right.
yeah.
And
that one,
there was a big, that was a big
we sold it.
That was a
We
big,
sold it at Borders.
well, I know that the home office was concerned and
well,
there
because
was,
it was teaching people how to build bombs and
Right.
stuff, you know.
so you think that was fine?
Do I think it was fine? I don't think it was fine, but it's a slippery, it's a
slope.
slippery slope.
Yeah.
You know, like, Mein Kampf. Wasn't
just
that
thinking
at one point too? Was that banned? Or,
Probably.
You know, it's, like,
Yeah.
but how do you ban one and not something else? Somebody's always going to find something. This very small
Right.
group of people who are banned. It's a very small group of people.
Yes.
It could be one parent
Yep.
in a school district who gets a book
The
banned.
squeaky wheel gets the
Yeah,
that's how
exactly.
we get to where we are now with
Yeah.
the government.
Yeah, and it's all right if you don't want your child to read that book. Okay.
And don't give them
Yeah.
how to build a bomb.
Really.
Okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
that's
my
right.
Kampf or whatever.
Exactly.
It's your
And
choice.
here's the thing that just crossed my mind. It's like, and I used to say this to customers when we were in I was working in Borders, and parents would say, "Oh, that lady's going to yell at you if you do that." And I'd look at the parents and I go, "Why are you forfeiting your parenthood to me?" And they went, "What?" So why are you telling them that I will do something? You're the parent,
Right.
and I said that to them.
Right.
And they're like, "What? You don't do that.
Yeah.
You take control." And it's just like if you don't want your child to read the book, you're the parent. Say, "No, I don't want you to read the book." But other kids can read the book if they're, it's just like you said, it's a slippery slope. And would I like to see some books banned? Sure. Yeah, no, I don't. No, not
banned.
sure. No, not
You
banned.
wish
No,
that
no.
they weren't in existence.
Yeah,
I
I
think it's a
shouldn't
little
say that.
different, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's books,
Yeah.
and there's always somebody's going to always object about something. But if we're talking about parents, as you said, and children, they need to parent.
Yeah.
That's right.
Don't leave it to the schools. The schools educate. They don't parent. And when you have
And the
you're
book should be
pressuring-
available.
Right, you're
Yes.
pressuring your schools because
Not to have
it
the
disagrees
books there,
with
yeah.
a parenting decision you make. That's different.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
know.
dangerous. It's
Yeah.
not
I know.
dangerous.
And when you have governors like DeSantis getting right in on it too.
And I don't understand it. I really don't understand why that is becoming an issue for us as a country. I mean, that it's big.
low hanging fruit.
Exactly.
That's what it is. It's
I
the
like that.
low hanging
Absolute.
fruit. We mentioned this
Absolute.
before.
Gets
And they
votes.
start coming for the books, and then you get more of these people, and more and more. Like you said, I don't read. I know people too. Educated people that I work with. They don't read. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they could probably tell you everything that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
But it's it doesn't mean that they're ignorant in any
Well,
way. But
luckily,
it just,
a lot of
it's
the
not-
shows that are on Netflix and all these streaming channels are based on books. So they're getting a little bit of the
They're
flavor of the
they're getting
world out
somebody
there.
else's interpretation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Which
yes.
is different.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I mean, it's not bad, but it's also
Yeah.
different. You can get so much more your
Right.
own interpretation of something.
I don't even think a lot of people who like are not readers and they, you know, watch. There's nothing wrong with watching TV. I watch.
Movies.
yeah.
Pick up a book.
But I
every
think
now and then.
I've heard people say, "Oh, that was a book."
Yes,
You know, I think
yes.
people are surprised. Where do you think all these ideas come from?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they
no,
come
absolutely.
from books.
Yeah.
Right.
You should try it sometime.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Well, you asked Judy and myself, and I think it is a book, but you're watching Lessons in Chemistry.
Lessons in
But isn't
Chemistry,
that a book?
yes.
And
Yeah.
Judy said it was. I didn't know that it was
Yeah,
a book.
I think it's that bright pink cover book. I see it everywhere. They have it.
Oh.
They have with a woman like a
Blonde
Blonde
woman.
with glasses.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. It's the show. I just finished the 3rd episode. That's all it's
Okay.
up to right now,
All right.
and I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of sad, and it takes place
Oh.
in a time when women weren't allowed to do anything, and they didn't
Right.
get the recognition. And she's a scientist, a chemist, but they won't call her as chemist. They'll only call her a tech, a lab tech, and it's pretty interesting. And
No, go ahead.
and that's it. I think, you know, I don't want to give the whole show away because
It reminds me of Hidden Figures.
I was
yes,
thinking the
exactly.
same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hidden Figures,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote it down because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to forget the name of
Yeah.
it.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
a book as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yes, it was.
It's based
That's
on a
right.
true
Yeah.
story.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah.
But
So-
I just, this was like an important thing because like we have that 1 week set aside in September, but it needs to be addressed more than just 1
Yeah.
week. And I'm sure a lot
Well,
of
it
people
is
do.
now.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now since they started banning books in Florida and in Texas, and it became, you know, the media got involved. Now it is. It's like there's banned books, you know, in window displays and
So
you
in
know,
a way,
tables
do you
full
think
of-
it's by banning the books they're calling more attention?
they are.
and so
Absolutely
it's
are.
defeating the message in a
It
way,
is,
you
yeah,
know. And
it
if you're
is.
Ban my books, okay?
Yeah.
So when you don't want your kid to read whatever this book is,
Mhm.
but
It makes it
your
more
child
appealing.
hears
Right.
you petitioning on the phone, on the news.
Mhm.
All they hear is this title of a book. Guess what
Mhm.
book your child?
That's right. I want
Because
to
the
read that
kids are
book.
going to do exactly the opposite of what
Yeah.
you want
Yeah.
them to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
So-
remember when Madonna's book, we couldn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
it
Yeah.
out on the shelf. We had to
Yes.
have it behind the
Behind the
register.
Oh
register.
my gosh.
You forgot about
Yeah, I
I
did forget
remember
about
that.
that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
But,
why was it? Was it
nudes,
nudity?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, the nudity.
Yeah. Well, Annie Leibovitz too. There
Oh,
was
yeah.
a big thing about her with all the portraits of the children, and it wasn't pornographic. It's,
Right,
you
right.
know,
Right.
but there was a lot of
Yeah, she got a lot of
foofara about that.
Good for us.
She got to use her word. She got to use it. No, it's
Yeah.
no, I'm just thinking like of the whole the
The
ridiculous.
whole scary world.
It's just- yes.
Right, just enough.
Yeah.
Just read.
Yeah.
Make your
Well,
own
did
judgments.
you want to mention? Because I'm not exactly sure how he's doing it, but isn't Theodore's Books doing something with if you come in and buy a banned book? Oh, they're shipping them down to Florida.
Oh, is it Florida or Texas? They were. Yeah, I did read that on his
Yeah,
website.
Theodore's Bookstore. If you go in and you buy a book, you can have it sent. They're going to send all. If it's got to be a banned book, they're going to send it down to.
Yeah.
I think it's Florida.
Yeah,
DeSantis.
yeah, I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, but so I think, and I don't think there are other. So check to see if your store is doing that. Your wherever you're living,
Yeah.
and support reading. And I was just thinking, like the three of us are sitting here when we were trying to come up with a name for our podcast. We knew it had to have something with books.
Oh yes.
It was no.
Right.
And wine.
And wine.
But, no, but we really did. I mean, it was important for us, and it does make me like I'm like, oh God, I read so many manuscripts because I read a lot of stuff that's not published yet, so it's hard for me to fit in a book that's already published to share here. And I'm actually reading one right now. It's going to come out in November. It's by Alice McDermott called Absolution.
Yeah.
I'm in love with it. And one thing I keep saying to myself as I'm reading it, she's the kind of writer that makes me want to be a better writer.
Yeah.
And I love, those are the kind of books that I love reading,
Yes.
Yeah.
that make me want to be a better writer. So, and that doesn't come out till November.
Well, this gives us the chance to read a lot more, you know, and
Yeah.
talk about them and bring good ones to everyone, which is what we wanted to do. We love the
Yeah.
books.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm reading a really interesting one. It's the one that I asked you to get me from Tor Books.
Oh, yes, okay.
It's The Darker Side of Noir, I think it's
Yeah,
called.
some-
And it's all women writers, and they're all short stories,
Oh.
and they're all kind of
Oh, it's
horror
Joyce Carol.
stories.
Oh, it's
She edited
edited.
it. It's you interrupted me, and my thought went right out of my head. It's all like horror short stories. They're all about female body dysmorphia.
Oh, wow.
So interesting.
That's
yeah, that's a
unique.
theme going through it.
Oh.
That
So,
book should be
mhm.
banned.
Well, I just finished reading one. I thought I'd read it today, but I had to bring this one in instead. And you're gonna love it, and I'm gonna give it to you. It came, also a brand new book, and I bought the hardcover because it was just looked too good. And I forget her name, but it starts with a G. It's called The Weaver and the Witch Queen.
Oh, I think that you told
I mentioned
me about
I
it.
had just
Yeah,
started last
uh-huh.
night. Well, I devoured that book.
Uh-huh. Oh,
and
okay.
I'll get you my review
Okay.
next time. So
Okay.
really, really,
Yeah.
See, here's
really
the
good.
thing.
Yeah.
Judy's very busy. She's the only one that has a full-time job
Mm-hmm.
among the three of us. And she's got 2 teenage daughters. She has a lot of animals to take care of. And yet she finds time to read.
Yeah.
And I just, that's, you know, like there are times I'm like, it's so easy like to just kick back and turn on the TV and get mad when you put on the news. But no, and then I tell myself, Carol, turn off the frickin' TV and
Yeah.
read. And I'm glad I
Forward
do.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I'm doing more what you. I used to not bring books with me when I would run to errands or whatever.
Yeah.
But like even when I brought you to go to
Yeah.
your eyes and everything, I made sure I had a book. And like when I was on the train the other
Yeah.
night, I made sure I had the book.
Always have a
I
book
get a
with
little
you.
nervous on the train. I might miss I might miss my stop.
Oh.
I'm like it's like I gotta make sure I'm paying attention so I don't miss my stop.
It's good. It's a good. I bring them everywhere. I get angry at myself when I forget my book. 'Cause
Yes.
sometimes my
Oh my
pocketbook
God.
isn't big enough, or I might have taken it out of the car,
Yep.
and then I'm like, now what do I got to do? Like
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
get all like
I
agitated.
go to
Here's
the-
what you could do, Judy.
I
This is
hate
what you
doing
can
that.
do.
But you meet a lot of nice people because then it's conversation started. Like the book I'm reading now also is a nonfiction. It's called Democracy Awakens. It's I'll talk about that one later. I'm not done with it. It's a slower read because it's nonfiction. And
Right.
but I was at my daughter's horse riding lessons, and and I was sitting there reading my book, but also watching it. But anyway,
Right.
but then the couple next to me was like, oh, I could see that they're looking at the
Right,
title,
you're reading.
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is new. I said, it just came out. I said, it's a brand new book, and and they're like, oh, and like I was wondering if it's a book, and then you just start chatting away, and I
Well,
met a lot of
we
people
met
that
a
way.
couple on the train when we were coming back from Paris, and she had the book, Kristen Hannah's book,
Yeah.
and a great conversation unfolded. Not a
Yeah.
lot about the book, but just
Yeah.
about our interests and that kind of things. And so yeah, it is a great, like even when I'm with Peggy and like if someone has a book, I'm like, can you see?
I
what
know,
you're
we're
reading?
always trying to look at the title.
I just go up to people. I do. I said, "What are you reading?" I go, "How come you don't like to?" I said, "What are you reading?" I do that to
Yeah.
people.
Oh, that's
and they're like, they usually want to tell you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's great.
I know.
And
I
it's-
wouldn't mind if
Yeah.
somebody said
Yeah,
that
no,
to me.
I was like,
Absolutely.
I'm always looking for recommendation. Any good?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they'll say yes or. I'm like, okay, I don't know that author. Like, I'll keep it in mind. And then you start talking. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to read, but at the same time, I try to interact more with people
Yeah.
because again,
Right.
we're all living in a society where
I
everybody's
know.
like
I
this.
know. Everybody's buried in
And it'd
something.
be nice to
And
get
not a
back
book.
to
Yeah.
conversing with people.
Yeah. Well, that's what's nice about a book and sharing your thoughts about it, because
Yes.
that's what you're going to do.
Yes.
You know, on the phone, you're not going to share your thoughts about the text that you're getting. You know.
Look what my aunt so and so said on Facebook.
Yeah. Although my daughter's going to be upset because I just got another coupon from Tom Tom the restaurant. She never does, and I just got another coupon, so I can't wait to show her that. But no, you know what? This was very good. I know banned books was like I didn't have an awful lot to add to it, but I just feel like I want people to be more aware of that you can't have the government tell you what you can and cannot read.
No, and go out and read for yourself. This, if we do anything and inspire one person to pick up a book, any book,
Yeah, that's
then
right.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Tell
and even
us.
if you're a
Yeah.
parent and you yourself don't read, you should really encourage your children to read anyway, because you know what? They're going to be much more well-rounded students and
Yes.
people,
Yeah.
and they're going to be smarter. The more you read, the smarter you
Absolutely.
are,
Yeah, and I feel
and the
like
more
that.
empathetic and kind you are, too.
And I feel like sometimes, like, you know, it's like, oh, I got assignment to read at school, and that's all. No, I don't have to read this because I wasn't assigned at school, but read it for fun. Like, you know, I know you mentioned one of your daughters reads a lot, and she,
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's,
she's always reading
I think
constantly.
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
grandkids, too.
I
Yeah.
think that is great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, gals, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
No,
Halloween.
not yet, Halloween, and boo, boo. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.